Good afternoon, everybody. It's Ruella here from Ruella James. This is my second Recruitment Hacks Live, and I'm very lucky to be joined by Sean Anderson of Hoxo Media and Amelia Sordell from Klowt, who are a personal branding agency. And basically, we are continuing the conversation from last week, where I was talking about my personal branding journey. I can't see any comments yet, but Katie has just said to me on the phone, they're coming through. Hi, Karen. Thank you. Just wait for a few more. Hi, Francesca. Thank you for joining us again. Hi, a LinkedIn user says hello to Amelia and Sean. Thank you for everybody who joined me last week. And I did get some really lovely comments sent to me privately afterwards, for which I really appreciate. So thank you very much. So as I said earlier, this week we are continuing our journey around personal branding. Sean, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. So I'm Sean Anderson, the CEO and founder of Hoxo Media. We are a recruitment dedicated content marketing agency that help both recruiters at a desk level build personal brands around the world and agencies win more business with content. So 4 years old, nearly March. I can't believe how fast that's gone. I feel like 3, and then the pandemic is just not a year.
I think the RAG report, it's 2 years old today?
The RAG podcast, 2 years old. And well, it was actually beginning of January. It's just took me that long to talk about it because I've had so many things to go on about. But yeah, so that's me currently working with agencies around the world and spend my life talking about this very topic. So excited to share it with you today.
And I am a graduate of your academy, which is the first time I've ever been a graduate. So that's quite a nice title to have. And Amelia, do you want to talk a little bit more about Klowt?
Yeah, well, my name's Amelia Sordell. We run Klowt, which is a personal branding agency. So we help a little bit different to what Sean does. We actually help CEOs, leaders, and founders build their personal brands on platforms like LinkedIn. We also do it cross-channel, across other social media as well, but for very, very similar reasons. So to generate more leads, to position themselves as a leader in their space, to position themselves as the employer of choice as well, which is a huge thing that people don't realize personal brand has the power to do. So yeah, Klowt's gone from 0 to oversubscribed in less than 4 weeks after we launched, all off the back of my personal brand. So hopefully I can bring some of that kind of nuggets of how we did that to your audience today.
And what's been wonderful is you've done this without a website, and I think I noticed you have just set up. You've just got your own office. You've just got your own office, which is so exciting.
Yeah. So I'm a bit annoyed because it's actually sitting vacant. You can probably see I'm actually in my bedroom today. It's sitting vacant because I don't have time to move in yet. So I'm really annoyed that we're not.
We look forward to visiting. So I have had the pleasure of working with both of you. You've both been incredibly supportive on my personal branding journey. And if for anyone who did watch my live last week, I tried to define for myself what my personal brand, what personal branding meant to me. And I'm just going to quickly read that through and then ask Sean and Amelia what it means to them. So I put here that my personal brand, my definition is that it was a way of promoting my skills and experience through my content, which allows me to differentiate myself from my competitors and in the process to build trust with prospect clients and in our case with potential candidates. Amelia, have you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to kick off by saying it kind of sounds counterproductive as a personal branding agency, but everyone has a personal brand. You can't build it, but what it looks like is entirely up to you. So personal branding is basically a fancy word to describe the strategy in which you take to build your reputation out at scale. So if you think more of it about how can I take who I am now and put that out to as many people as humanly possible, that's what personal branding does. So it's not, there is no difference between your personal brand and you. It's just you at scale.
Yeah.
Super. And Sean, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. But I kind of look at it like we're talking about two different things. So this personal brand is nothing to do with the internet, right? You've had a personal brand all your life. You had a personal brand at school. You had a personal brand in your first job. I look at a personal brand is what people think and feel of you when you're not around based on your experience, your skills, and your personality, right?
So what kind of how they talk about you
Yeah, what do people say about you when you're not in the room? That is the definition of a brand. And we've had that all our lives. We had that as recruiters, we had it as school kids, the whole lot. All we're doing now is we're taking what we've always done offline and we're thinking about how do we get that online. And like Amelia said, that gives us the opportunity to reach a lot more people than in a one-on-one scenario.
Okay. And Sean, you're both ex-recruiters, which I think is great because our audience is probably predominantly recruitment business owners and recruiters who are going through this journey or who have gone through this journey, and maybe it's taking a little bit of time. How did you get from where you are now to where you were? How did it all start for you?
How did it happen? Yeah, without going to too long, right? So I was 7 years a recruiter. I was a big biller in London, and I was setting up a recruitment company called Hoxo. That was the name. Tattooed on my wrist was the same name. I bought Bullhorn. I'm not lying about it, right? But in the final year of recruitment, I'd not done many deals. I was more like business development and managing the team. I was running like 20 people in the contract business, and I was really frustrated by the way we were doing things. I was watching people on YouTube and Instagram build audiences, and like Gary Vee getting 50,000 views at the time on a video. Now it's like 50 million or something. And we were trying to do 10 before 10 to get hold of hiring managers. And I was like, it's ludicrous. But everyone I spoke to just thought I was a bit mad when I was like, could we use Snapchat? Or because LinkedIn wasn't what it is now. And then when I was planning to leave, I was looking at my restrictive covenant period, and I couldn't talk to anyone in my market. And I didn't want to break the rules because I really respected my bosses. So I was like, I had this brainwave. I was like, what if I was like Gary Vee and I just produced video on LinkedIn for 6 months? Literally no one can say that I've broken anything in my contract, but everyone will know who I am. And then after 6 months, I'll get my old clients back. And
so you were going to appeal to these clients over LinkedIn without breaking a contract?
No one was doing it then. In 2016,
very savvy.
2016, no one. You couldn't even put a video up. It was just YouTube clips. So I told my business partner, Amber, he thought it was a mental case. He's like, whatever, do what you want. Like he's banging in, like looking at the Bullhorn coding. And then I went to find a marketing agency like what me and Amelia now back then. And there was just literally no one that understood what I was trying to do, didn't see this vision. And I was like, LinkedIn has to become more like Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. It has to be. It's fucking boring in 2016. It was boring. So then I basically hired someone I knew to do it with me. And my plan was, after I spoke to a few recruitment owners, they were like, we'll buy that. And I was like, buy what? And they were like, whatever you're going to do for yourself. So I sold a lot of contracts before I even launched a recruitment company. And I said, well, let's just put that on ice for 6 months. And then
that's incredible.
The ice never thawed out. And then I basically just did what I've always done, which is be me online. I kind of just documented my journey. I had this series called Hoxo Life for like until the pandemic.
I've seen those videos. They were good.
Well, yeah, we did every month for the first 3 years. We documented our journey. It was ridiculous. Like some of the shit we talked about. But we just kept finding out what the market wanted. We documented what went on sales calls, and we just shared it. And we were loud about with what we wanted to do.
And you've kind of adapted it, I think, over time, haven't you?
Yeah. And one thing I have done since early 2017 is I've been consistent. I've posted on LinkedIn pretty much every single working day since middle of 2017. So
I want to cover that with you, definitely, a little bit more later. Amelia, the floor is yours. How did you get here?
How did I get here? So like Sean, started off as a recruiter. I was a tech SaaS headhunter, specifically within salespeople. So getting hold of very good salespeople in the west coast of America while you're based in the UK is pretty bloody hard. So I managed to build myself up a very, very strong desk by making no calls. So we were the same. We had 10 before 10. I never did them. I was always pulled up for my call time. And I was building these relationships with people because I was running marketing campaigns. I was doing content marketing to reach them. And we were winning retained work off the back of it in a business that typically didn't do any retained work. So no one could really understand what I was doing. So when I left to have my first baby, they rehired me as the marketing manager to run their marketing, which is actually how Sean and I met. And very quickly, I learned that an individual's brand and an individual's content has 10 times the reach. And I think that's fact on LinkedIn of a company brand. So what better way to build up your recruitment business credibility than to get your people, who are essentially your product in a recruitment business, your people to build their brand. So when I was in the marketing position within that recruitment business, I started building my personal brand because I thought these guys aren't going to listen to what I've got to say unless I'm doing it myself. I very quickly built up some traction. I've gone from 2,500 followers to nearly 36,000 followers in 18 months. And unlike Sean, I haven't posted every day. I was really inconsistent for the first, from the first kind of 6 months. I maybe posted a few times a week, maybe once a week in some cases. I had a whole other job to do. And so it wasn't a priority for me. It wasn't until I decided that I wanted to really double down on this personal branding for the point of launching an agency, which very similar to Sean. It wasn't going to be a personal branding agency. It was going to be a branding agency.
Okay.
I didn't start sharing content consistently until I need to generate leads for that business. So you don't need to post, in my opinion, you don't need to post content every single day to get results. As long as it's consistently adding value and you're doing it consistently, and frequently doesn't mean consistently, you can get the results from it. And all of our clients that we work with post 3 times a week, sometimes 4. All of them get results from it. So it's more about the quality of what you're sharing rather than how.
And that's really important. And in fact, I've forgotten to say something which is really important, which is Sean and Amelia have actually offered to give a 30-minute one-to-one session, one each, with anyone who's commented in the box. So if you want a one-to-one session with Amelia or Sean, completely free of charge on personal branding, can you just pop in the comments box one-to-one PB, and we will pick 2 names later on at the end of the day and DM you privately to let you know that you have got a one-to-one session with Amelia and Sean for half an hour. And if there's loads of people, then I'll try and help out as well as best as I can. So kind of moving on from there, you've both mentioned the content piece, which I think is really incredibly important. So last week I spoke about optimizing your LinkedIn profile. And then from there, I just wanted to have a conversation really around posts. Sean, do you want to kick off with what you're doing? Because you do a lot of video. Amelia does a lot of text. You do a text post.
I think my video stuff has dropped a bit since not being in. So Amelia's just got an office. I've got rid of my office. So we've gone the other way. We've no longer got one, right? So I used to have a studio in the office. I used to have a camera guy with me all day. I don't have any of that. I'm in my flat with my dog on my own.
Henry gets lots of views.
Yeah, luckily I got rid of him today, so he's not going to cause any trouble. But when it comes to producing content, I look at a couple of things. I think there's 3 types of content that have always worked for me, right? And the first one is I call it personal content, right? And that's just got nothing to do with recruitment. It's got nothing to do with your job. It's just about you as a person, things that you care about, things that the highs and lows, your comments on the news, just you sharing the opinions you would share in the office, in meetings with your friends. Because I think when you look back at my recruitment career, the people I actually did the most work with were the guys that really got to know me and trusted me. My best clients were friends, and we knew each other's partners' names and kids' names and all the rest of it. So it's about opening up the under the bonnet of who you are. The next I talk about is value content, which is all about the information that you share offline. How do you get that online? So do you know those calls you have and you're like, fucking hell, the 3rd time this week I've had to answer that question. It's like, well, that's the sort of stuff that you should be sharing online, because clearly people need to know. I remember
around conversations that you're having.
Yeah, like everything I do is about is you and your life and your job. It's not like the last thing I want you to do is sit there and think, what can I write about that has got nothing to do with you? Because I think you'll get found out. You should be contributing. You should be a knowledge.
Be authentic.
Base it on your job, your life. Like, talk about what you know, and if you do, you'll be successful. And then the final one is credible content, which is sharing case studies, testimonials, wins. A lot of people are scared. Whenever I talk about this, they always think it's like Wolf of Wall Street wankers who are going to be like, putting people off by saying we've done so well. And I'm like, well, every time you go and pitch a client, do you use a reference from a client you've worked with that's exactly the same to get that business? And 100% of the time they say yes. People in the audience now, do you do that, right? If anyone says no, you're mad.
That's such an important point, though. Sorry to interrupt you. It's like when I said last week, whenever we go and buy anything, we're looking at all the reviews on Amazon. Our clients are looking, and candidates are looking at reviews about us. And if you don't have those recommendations, you haven't put that up on your posts, I think it's important. I agree with you, but I do hear mixed views about that. But I agree with you.
It's how you do it. You can do anything in a really obnoxious way, but if you're genuine, like you genuinely care about the people you place, you're genuinely delighted to work with clients, you're genuinely pleased. Like today, I posted, I've just hit 20,000 listeners to the show after 2 years. I'm delighted. I don't care what people think. I don't care if anyone thinks I'm gloating, because I'm buzzing about that. Like, I'm genuinely pleased. So if you get the personal stuff out there, you offer free value and advice, and then you show people how good you are, and you're proud to say how good you are. That to me is, and you keep that going on a weekly basis, you'd be surprised what happens next.
Super. And Amelia, you post, I think, 3 times a week. Is that right? But
no, I post every day. Sometimes
you're posting every day now. Okay.
Yeah. No, our clients post 3 times a week minimum.
Okay.
So I run it in a similar way, but with much more structure. So I think the same thing. There's 3 types of content, right? There's personal content, there's capability content, and then there's your hook content, which is what hooks clients in. Yes. Essentially what Sean was saying there around the credibility piece. We structure our weeks exactly in that way, so it mirrors a funnel. So at the beginning of the week, you talk about things that are personal to you, things that are emotive, stories, what's happening in your life, what's your commentary on what's happening in the world. These are the things that everyone finds interesting, everyone wants to engage with, will open the door into your world and give people a bit of a feel and a flavor for who you are. That gets also a lot more engagement than every other type of post. So you've got loads of eyeballs on your posts at the beginning of your week. The middle of, so let's say you posted that on a Tuesday, some story about your lives, whatever. Middle of the week, you post capability. So capability is, as Sean was saying there, what are you talking to your clients on the phone? What things are troubling them? What are the bits of information that you're talking about every single day that you're not sharing? Like, what are you capable of? What value can you bring? That might be a list. It might be a video. It might be how to do this, how to do that. It shows you as a credible source of information. And then at the end of the week, you do a hook post. So this is, for anyone that's not familiar, please go and read Gary V, jab, 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 right hook. That's how we run our week. So you give 3 pieces of free, valuable information, valuable pieces of content before you hit them with anything in return, right? Give your best stuff away for free. And I do this, Rue, and I know Sean does it as well. We talk about personal brand and we give everyone every single thing they need to know about building their personal brand the way we've done it, for free. That doesn't leave any business for us. That positions us as credible sources of that information. So once you've done that, at the end of the week, you then hit them with your hook. So your customer testimonial, the results you recently got, a really hard to fill role that you managed to fill with this absolute fire candidate, video testimonials from people. And you say, this is what happened. These were the results we got. If you would like results like this, drop us a DM and we'd be happy to help. And so it doesn't matter when people connect with you. It doesn't matter when people follow you. Eventually, if they're the right type of customer, candidate or client, they will be pushed through that funnel and they will turn into a lead. And we are very, personal branding to me is 2 sides, right? It's really good for authority, thought leadership. But if you're trying to make sales, you need to treat it as such as well. So there's 2 types.
I mean, we're trying to position this so that it's what you're putting out there is interesting to your target market. First and foremost.
You're positioning yourself as a credible source of information, and therefore to give you context, 85% of your customers at any given time are not buying. They're not buying. Maybe they've already got a provider, or they're not interested in whatever you're selling. 12% of your customers are considering buying. So maybe they are going to be hiring soon. Maybe they need to grow their team. That's somewhere off in the future. They're looking for people that can help them do that. 3% at any given time of your customers are buying. And the problem with recruitment and every other sales function, typically they will focus on that 3%. So it becomes incredibly saturated and really difficult to charge a decent amount of money to build relationships with new clients, because everyone's targeting that 3%. Personal branding builds up your credibility within the 85% of people that are not buying, so that when they get to the consideration stage, guess who they come to? Guess who are the first people that they think of coming to?
Yeah, and following that strategy that you've both, I've watched all of your lives, and Sean took us through that 16-week program. Doing all of those things has definitely worked for us, but it's also about how you turn that into sales. And Sean, how are you turning what you're putting out there into actual sales?
One of the things that we not talked about, which I think you might have mentioned last week, is the whole target audience piece, right? So, and I know me and Amelia have a very similar attitude to this, right? Some people on LinkedIn will just constantly talk to everyone, try and build mass engagement, which, that's what your personal content's about. But to me, I'd rather have a laser focus on who I want to work with than just, I don't want leads off people that aren't relevant. Like, I just don't want it. I haven't got time. So like even when I post about Henry the dog, if you actually read the comments, they're all recruitment owners. So like I know my content on a consistent basis hits the right audience. So firstly, you've got to work. How do you turn it into sales? Well, you've got to think, who am I talking to? And you've got to really know those people. And one thing I was taught a while ago was that people read content online alone. So like every one of us are watching LinkedIn alone. Like we're not in like a cinema together sharing it. We're on our own, right? So you've got to talk to as if you're talking to one person every time. If you're trying to shout to 1,000 people with your content, you're less likely to resonate with one. Whereas if you talk to one and you know that one type of person really well, you're more likely to resonate with 1,000. So my consistent theme is, for me to turn it into sales, is I have to be focused on one area and who I want to work with, which is progressive modern recruitment owners, right? I don't really care about recruitment owners that think that they're going to cold call for the next 25 years. Crack on. Like that, I don't need your business. Like I want to work with the younger, innovative, and when I say young, I don't mean in age, I mean in mindset.
I was older.
But people that actually believe that things are changing and they're open to the change rather than resisting the change, because they'll get found out. So I give away exactly like Amelia. I give away loads of free stuff. I very rarely ask for anything on my content. But then I'll drop links to things. I'll say engage with this content, or download that, or attend a webinar, or just get in touch about the academy. There's but to be honest, every single day people just they start to DM you. Like Amelia said, I had a guy call me up, right? I'll tell you this quick story. He phoned me up early in 2020. He said, Sean, I really like the look of what you're doing. I want to work with you. I was like, brilliant. This is awesome. He goes, but you've got to make me money in 3 months. I was like, all right, what? He goes, you've got to make me money in 3 months. I said, let's just park it there. As he's saying it, I'm looking at him on LinkedIn, right? This guy does nothing at all. So I'm like, cool. So he said, I went, what do you mean you got to make money? He goes, well, whatever you do with me, it has to generate revenue or it's a failure. I was like, it's a really odd way to start. So I said, how long have you been watching me? He goes, what do you mean? I goes, well, how long do you think you've watched me online? You've rang me up today. He goes, probably about a year at least. I was like, all right, cool. So if there's say 250 working days a year, I've posted at least once a day. You've probably watched me at least 250 times this year before you've picked up the phone. And I do this for a living. I've got an agency behind me. I've been doing it for 4 years. And it took you a year to ring me. He goes, yeah. I said, cool. So you've done nothing ever. And you expect in 3 months, your customers are going to be picking up the phone to you. Do you think that's realistic? And he's like, probably not. We didn't end up working together. That's why I love that story.
It's so true, though, because we've been on this journey for 9 months. We started with you back in the summer when things were just absolutely dreadful. And it's only really the last 3 months that we've seen actual real live business come through as a consequence.
You use the phrase invest in your brand, right? Invest in your brand. Well, let's think of an investor, a financial investor. If you're investing properly in Warren Buffett, they don't invest for the daily trajectory in the market. They invest for the long-term returns. Like Amelia, I'm sure you track your stuff daily, right? But I guarantee you're thinking 12, 24, 36 months down the line, how much today's activity is going to benefit you. And that's the challenge with salespeople in general, right? Every single daily activity, if it doesn't make money out of it, they're frustrated. When it comes to personal brand, you have to think further. You've got to think, I might not even see the benefit of this for the first 3 months, but it's all engagement. Might not get any money, but I promise you, I'm living proof. Amelia's living proof. Like I've built a seven-figure business off the back of everything I've done on LinkedIn.
So Amelia, this turning leads into fees. There we are. There's a new phrase. What do you suggest people do to convert those views into, how do they monetize this?
How do you monetize your attention? Yeah, I think it is really important that you know exactly who you're talking to. Because as Sean said, if you're speaking to, I always say to everyone, LinkedIn is like a party, right? If you try and speak to everyone at that party at the same time, no one's going to hear you. If you beeline exactly the group of people that you want to have a conversation with as soon as you get to that party, they are going to get to know you very quickly, and you're going to be able to start to have that conversation very, very quickly. So knowing who you're talking to, knowing who your human is, and I don't just mean sector, I mean who is the hiring manager, who is the customer that you are trying to speak to, who is that person? Give them a name if you want to, but know exactly who it is that you're speaking to and speak to them only. And the second thing is go through your comments and your likes and just pick off people that are matching that ideal customer and message them. We've had so much success for our clients in simply getting them to message follow-ups to people saying, hey, insert name. Thank you so much for commenting on my post, insert headline. Really appreciate your support on LinkedIn. If you, I can introduce you to anyone this year, or if there's anything I can help you with, just drop me a DM and I'd be happy to help. We have won so much, hundreds of thousands of pounds for business, for clients, just of doing that thing, like that one thing, nothing else, just that thing.
Simple. So simple.
And we do the same.
People are they already like you because they follow you. They already trust you because they're engaging with your content. Why on earth would you leave money on the table and not follow up? Because, oh, it should be coming into my, like, don't be ridiculous. Go and scoop up that money. Like, it's so simple, and it can take you as little as 5 minutes a day. Like, scroll through, boom, CEO off. Scroll through, boom, CEO off. Done. It's the most powerful way to convert attention.
No. And we've taken on board everything that you guys have said, and it's definitely been proven to work for us so far. So there's two things I just want to cover off before we go, because we have done nearly half an hour. The time has gone by so quickly. Both of you, thoughts on Clubhouse? Amelia, do you just want to give you're in there all the time. I'm dipping in and out. Do you want to explain what it is? I think
so.
Joel from Hoxo in there a few times, but not you yet, Sean. So what's going on?
Clubhouse is an audio-only social media platform that currently is invite-only, but that's going to open up broadly in March. Why it's so powerful is it's like an incredibly intimate version of LinkedIn, but at scale. So you can reach people with your voice. You can't do that on LinkedIn. Your voice is so much. That's why people like podcasts, right? Because you can connect to that person through listening to them. So Clubhouse has been awesome for us. We've been on the platform for 4 weeks. We've already closed 2 new clients off the back of it, simply by going into Clubhouse, hosting rooms, small rooms, but very, very targeted rooms, and going into the bigger rooms and asking really, really specific questions. So a big tip for anyone who's on Clubhouse, who's looking to use it to grow their personal brand, go into the bigger rooms, put your hand up and ask a question. But when you ask the question, make sure it's interesting and broadly relatable to everyone in that room, and always introduce yourself. So go, hi, my name's Amelia Sordell. I run a personal branding agency. We build personal brands for CEOs and entrepreneurs. My question is... And the thing is, because you position the question so specifically, the people who are moderating that room go, that's a brilliant question. And then, of course, everyone who's in that room sees your name, sees your face, and they want to connect with you. We're at nearly 1,000 followers now in 3 weeks. I've never seen that kind of growth on any other social media.
It's so interesting. I went in there once, managed to get on the stage, and a lovely guy called Rollis, who, he may be watching me now in the US, has invited me onto his LinkedIn Live at the end of March. We've never met before.
Love it.
Just chatting. Hopefully he heard something that he felt was, I think we were talking about personal branding. So Rollis, if you're there, hello. But yeah, interesting. Sean, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching. I've been in rooms. We're kicking off next week with our stuff. I think the truth is that Joel, for me in the US, that's his role. He's stealth mode all over it. And we've got 3,000 recruiters right now we're coaching and 250 clients. So for me, it's about, like anyone running a business, you can't be everywhere at all times. So I would suggest, if someone's watching it, work out how much time. One thing I am worried about for people is thinking they have to be on every platform all day. I think that's unrealistic. If you're running a business, if you're looking at a recruitment company running a business, you've got to service your customers. You've got to manage your people. You have a business to run. So for me, LinkedIn is 1 hour a day in the morning. I might check in again later. And then, if you're on Clubhouse, go in maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes at night or whatever. Make sure you've got alert setups, when certain rooms are kicking off. Do not spend all day in Clubhouse right now when you should be running your business. If you're a single solopreneur with no clients, crack on. That's what it feels like a little bit for me right now on that platform. But
it's a very good point
to make as well. Like, you don't need to be on every platform. Like, you just go where your customers are. Like, I think there is, and I'm sure you get this a lot, Sean, with doing all the social media stuff for your clients. People come to us and go, we want to be on Instagram, we want to be on, and I'm like,
why?
Who are you selling to? And they're like, this person. I'm like, they're not on Instagram. Why would you?
Go to where your audience is?
Go on LinkedIn. Go on Twitter. Go wherever where your customers are getting their information. Like, it's you don't need to be everything to everyone. Just be the best thing to your customer. The only way to do that is build your audience where they are already.
Totally. And be better than you were yesterday. I mean, look, people say to me, Sean, they've never put a post up on LinkedIn. What time of the day am I going to optimize? It's like passing your driving test and going, what horsepower is in the engine? Just fucking drive for a bit. Like, just get out there.
Give it a go.
Go and put some content, test it. Like, put content out. I think you should do 5 days a week personally. I think it takes such a little amount of time to do it. Why wouldn't you? Because someone else is getting the attention if you're not. That's my attitude. I've done everything consistently. I didn't go into recruitment and do 10 calls one day and not the next. I did it every day. So
is that your top tip for today, Sean?
Me personally, I might be different to Amelia. My life has been about consistency. The only reason I was a 700 grand biller in London is because I worked harder than people. I fucking made more calls. I stayed later. I went to more meetings. I just grafted. And it's the same now. You put it in every day, you'll get success. That's my attitude is look long term and be consistent.
Amelia, your top tips before Sean talks about Project 500?
Top tips for personal branding on LinkedIn. Number one, make sure it's quality. Like, quality is more important than the quantity, I think. Number two, go and comment on other people's posts. People spend too much time posting their own content and not enough time in giving back into the ecosystem. The best part of commenting on other people's posts is two things. Number one, you introduce yourself to networks that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. If the person who posted that content replies to your comment, their network sees. And secondly, you can use your own comments and other people's comments as ideas for content of your own. So it's a really great way of repurposing ideas, getting inspiration. So quality content, go and comment on other people's stuff, and don't be afraid to have an opinion. Like, I hate, the most frustrating thing for me is when I see people post content consistently, and I see it in my feed all the time. They're doing it every day. They're doing all the things that everyone's saying to do, but they get no traction. It's because they are so vanilla, and I know that person is not the person behind the screen. They have
that's how I met you, wasn't it? I disagreed.
Yeah, we disagreed with each other.
And in fact, it was the first time I'd ever...
Be yourself. And if yourself has an opinion about...
with anyone. Sorry, I'm talking over you.
Yeah, no, I think it's brilliant, though. Like, why would you want to just be this stiff vanilla person? Like, don't go all Diet Coke on us. Go and be yourself. Go and be the person that everyone knows who you are, because that's your personal brand. It's just who you are at scale. Like, it's... That would be my top three things.
Thank you both. You have both been incredible. I hope everyone's got some great tips. If anyone does want that one-to-one session with Sean or Amelia, please just pop something in the comments now, or if you're watching the replay, you can put some comments in later. And I'm going to hand over to Sean to talk about this amazing initiative, Project 500. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So this is an initiative where I'm running in partnership with two recruitment companies. So two are clients of mine, Simply Commerce and Red Holt, Chris Redmond and Tim Rodell. Now, two clients that I'm really close to, and early in January, both phoned me within 24 hours with the same idea, right? It was crazy. They both said that they've got kids right now that they're homeschooling, and they felt incredibly privileged to be able to give their kids Macs and iPads and devices and give them the space to then go away and do the work. And they found out through the grapevine that the kids in their schools and classes were not, they were not getting that same level of well, they didn't have the technology for a start. So they were like, is there something we could do? And then I just got off the phone to someone I'm really close to who's got two children with one device right now. And she's having to choose between those two kids who gets the iPad to do the session. And I'm an ex-school teacher. I worked 3.5 years. I worked for a school in Sheffield. I was a PE teacher before recruitment, and it means a lot to me. I've seen kids in schools where they haven't got the parenting support at home. They don't get fed. They come to school. They depend on them for everything. I've seen it firsthand. So we came up with this idea that we did the research. We figured out 9% of all children in the UK right now do not have a device. So that's 1.8 million children don't have access to a device. So they're sat there. They're trying to homeschool without access to technology. And we do not know when this is going to end. We know the vaccine's being rolled out. We do not know when schools are going to go back to normal, when any of us are going to go back to normal, and whether or not new variants are going to come. And it's going to be it could be rolling in and out for as long as we can think. So, the government have already ran schemes to get laptops out to schools. We just wanted to do our bit as and as an industry. I think we've got a lot of resources. I think we're a great group. My clients are wonderful people, and I think together we can make a difference. So Project 500 is an initiative where we are trying to raise £80,000 by the end of February, or as fast as we can, to get 500 devices, brand new Asus laptops with Windows 10 and Google Classroom loaded to kids in school that need them now. So the way it works,
you raised so far?
We have currently, I'm just looking, if you type in Project 500 at hoxomedia.com, offline, or someone put that link in the comments. You can see it. So
we'll put them in afterwards for sure.
So 5 days, we've got £17,500, and one of my clients has donated £10,000 today. So we're waiting on that to hit the bank. So we'll be at 27,000 by the end of the day.
Big shout out to that client, whoever they are.
Amazing. Yeah, we've had 54 backers, and the way it works is every laptop we've got an agreement with a tech company that are providing them for £160 cost price, and the money that you donate goes straight to that company. It's in an account, and every week we reconcile and we get the amount of laptops it covers out to schools. If you donate £1,000 or more, you can tell us where you want them to go. So give us the name of the school, we'll do the rest. My £2,000 has gone directly to the school I used to work, so that's 12 laptops at school. The guys that have donated 10,000 emailed their school to let them know they're going to do it. It was an unbelievable response they got from the school. We're not going to be able to help everyone, but if you just give money, we'll choose where they go. If you give us 1,000 or more, we'll let you choose where they go, and we'll get them to them. So
Chris is saying 17,418 raised as of today.
That's it.
Well,
and
everybody.
It will be. So please go on there. All you need to do is click the link, go through, donate. Every little helps, right? If you can pay for one laptop, 160, that's amazing. £50, whatever. But collectively, we want to get to £80,000 as fast as we can, and I believe we can do it.
Yeah,
think about
you will do it for sure.
Yeah, and it'll be an amazing feeling. On Friday, on Hoxo Media's LinkedIn Live, I'm interviewing the deputy head of the school I used to work at, so the guy I worked with. An Irish Man United fan who used to wind me up back in the day about football, but City are a good team now, so it should be fun. But he's going to be telling us all about what the reality is like in the school and how those laptops are going to help. So all I can say is please help. Share it with your candidates, share it with your clients, get out.
We will be sharing it everywhere. And because get everybody keep resharing.
It's just literally, it is disgusting what people have to put up with and how they're living right now. You've got families, your kids sharing one iPhone between 3 children. It's just not good enough. So, we can make a difference, and we will.
Sean, is there a way you could create some kind of email footer that clients of yours or anyone who's in the comments right now could attach to their email? Because that's great marketing real estate that they can be getting out this message. Because as a mother, like this, and a human being, like this is a massive thing that has impacted everyone. Yeah. So I think the more can get that in their email addresses, the more.
Yeah, we will do. We've also got an email that's going to be sent out via all of our partners. Hopefully yourself, Ruella, to the database of the industry. People like yourself, Amelia, sharing it online will be useful. Like just the more noise we make, it literally, and then we're going to start talking to the schools that have received the laptops and finding out, just what difference it does make. And look, this is the start. The amount of kit we've all got in offices. That'll be the next phase. How do we start to refurbish that and get that out? The problem we have with that right now is just a much bigger logistical nightmare of, getting the kit, cleaning the kit, thinking about data, privacy, quality, whether it breaks down, or at least we know with this, it's a money in the bank.
Brand new.
Where's it going? Get it out to the school, brand new. It's all, we've got a slick process. So, let's raise £80,000 together.
Well, look, guys, thank you so much. I feel absolutely thrilled that you're both here with me today. You've made my life a bit easier. I haven't had to do so much talking. And I hope the audience have got some great tips. Connect with Sean, connect with Amelia. And we'll make sure that all of their details are in the comments. I think there's definitely been the Project 500 information is there. Pick up the phone, everyone. If we do nothing else today, let's make some money for people who are less fortunate than ourselves. And on that note, thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.